I recently stole this top box from a friend of mine and I was really excited to install it on my bike and show it to you guys, but unfortunately I cannot go ahead with this mod. Why is that? Well, partly it's my fault that the top rack that I ordered is the incorrect one for this top box, and partly fate that Viatara sent me a defective product. Anyway, it kind of worked out in my favor, but now throughout this entire process of getting the top box and getting a top rack and then figuring out I made a mistake has led me down a very nice rabbit hole of what top boxes are and what they can do for you and what they can not do for you. In this video, I'm going to talk exactly those things so that you don't end up making the same mistakes that I made. Let's be honest, everyone makes mistakes. Some mistakes just end up costing you a lot of money, so let's not do that. I'm Ayush, this is the Blue Biker. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Everything begins with the top rack, and this is where I made the biggest mistake. What is a top rack? Well, it is something like this. It's basically a plate that you install on your motorcycle, and then the top box sits on top of this. Occasionally, this thing also comes in handy as a dining table when you're out for those late shawarma sessions. When you're buying a top rack, just don't pick any random top rack you come across first. You need to do a bit more research and understand what your needs are and if that particular top rack will serve your needs or not. First of this is the load rating. Every good top rack will come with a load rating, which is super important because you don't want to overload it. That can either result in the top rack itself breaking, the bolts breaking, or sometimes damaging the subframe. This is where I made the mistake because when I ordered this, I forgot to check the load rating on this, and I only understood that when it was delivered. This thing only has a load rating of 5 kg, but my top box, which is an aluminum top box itself, is like 5 to 6 kg, so that's not going to work. If you are buying a top rack, make sure it can support the top box that you are planning to buy. Usually, something to keep in mind is that good top racks will have a load rating of 7 to 8 kgs, and plastic top boxes, the one that you see all those roundy type scooter ones, are 4 to 5 kgs if I'm not wrong, and aluminum ones weigh around 6 to 8 kgs. Some can be lighter or heavier depending on the material, but this is just a general range you should keep in mind when you're buying a top box. I know a lot of top boxes don't even mention how heavy they are, like this one. So you end up in situations like this. I'm not blaming it, I'm kind of blaming myself, but still. Next, make sure the top rack comes with all the tools and essentials you need to install it. Otherwise, prepare to go to your local hardware store 3 times and trying to explain to him the different kind of bolts you need to install on your motorcycle. Then check for quality. The top rack that you buy need to be of very high quality, otherwise it will break, and that's bad because if it breaks, your luggage is going to go out on the road. You don't want that, especially if you like to keep expensive things in your top box. So pick out a high quality top rack which is made of either mild steel or aluminum, anything that is resistant to rust. At the same time, it should ideally have a thick powder coating on top of it so that it is kind of protected from the elements. Also, just pick out the lightest top rack you can buy while making sure it fits your needs, because you don't want to add a lot of plumbing to your bike. I hate plumbing on bikes, which is why I've never put even a crash guard on my bike. It still runs the OEM crash guard and it has served me just fine. I hate those people who put massive crash guards on it, so we don't want to make that mistake when it comes to top rack either. Don't cheap out on this. Spend some money and buy something that is good. Trust me, you don't want issues with your top rack when you have a top box installed on. Otherwise, if it breaks mid-ride, you can't hold your top box and go home. You have to figure something out, and that will be very difficult to do. So pick something that is high quality from a brand that you trust, and sometimes prepare for them to disappoint you too, like Viatara did me this time. Now that you have got your top rack sorted, we now move to the top box. And this is where things get interesting. But before I begin, let me start with all the benefits of using a top box so that you don't think I am shitting on it unnecessarily. Okay, I love top boxes. I love the idea of top boxes. They are awesome because they bring some benefits that we usually don't get to have on a motorcycle otherwise. First is good top boxes come with a lock system, so you can just put your helmet inside, lock it up, and then go wherever you want without having to carry around your helmet or any other kind of luggage with you everywhere. They are also weatherproof, so if you're riding around in the city with important paperwork or something, you can put it in the top box and not worry about the papers getting wet or dusty or torn or whatever. And finally, they come in very handy when you're out shopping for groceries or just shopping random stuff, but you're on a motorcycle and suddenly You can't carry it anywhere, but the top box is there, so you can put it in the top box and ride home. You no longer have to hang those carry bags on your handlebar, which is a very stupid and risky thing to do, but we all kind of make peace with it sometimes. Yeah, this is what makes top boxes super convenient in the city, and this is why I got this top box. I don't have a car, so I need some luggage on my bike that is safe, secure, and weatherproof, which is why I got a top box so that I can ride around town without having to worry about carrying my helmet, or when I'm buying groceries, I don't have to worry like, oh, how am I going to carry all of this home? On the flip side, there is one very big disadvantage of top boxes is that they can ruin your bike's handling. Let me elaborate. The first problem I have with top boxes is that they add weight on the worst possible place, which is high up and behind the rear axle. That's bad. It may not seem like a lot, but trust me, it changes your bike's dynamics. First, it puts a lot of dynamic load on the subframe. Think of it like this: the entire setup, which is your top box and the top rack, would weigh somewhere around 8 to 10 kgs when your bike is stationary. But when your bike is moving, because of all the road undulations and speed breakers and everything, because it is moving up and down, it can put load of over 20 to 30 kgs on the subframe just when they are empty. This is bad for the subframe. For the most part, either your top rack will break or the bolts will break, but sometimes this can snap the subframe. Fun fact: if you have read this book, The Long Way Around by Ian McGregor and Charlie Bowman, if you have not, you need to do this. This is a rite of passage for anyone who likes adventure bikes. We owe it to these guys. But if you have read this book, then there's a section where they break one of GS's subframe, and that happened because they overloaded the bike, like overloaded the top box, and it could no longer handle that weight, so the subframe just snapped. We need to learn from their mistakes and not snap our subframes. Second, this can also affect your bike's handling. You know how when you're riding alone or when you have a pillion, the dynamic changes of your bike, you suddenly feel like it's heavier at the back? Yes, a 10 kg top box can do that too. It won't feel like someone sitting behind you, but it will definitely feel like there is like 20 or 30 kg of weight behind you when it is empty. Load it all up and it just gets worse. Both the examples I used, I told you about empty top boxes, but at the moment you start loading them up, you are worsening the problem. Now, because of this dynamic load, they pull the center of gravity of your bike back, which lowers the load on the front tire and suspension. As a result, the bike starts feeling a very light or featherweight on the front, and that's bad for highway stability and cornering. At the same time, it may sometimes reduce your braking performance because there is not enough load on the front wheel. It's a dumpster fire. Finally, on the highway, some top boxes, depending on your bike's design and aerodynamic profile, they can act like basically just wind sails. One crosswind and your bike will start doing belly dance on the highway. So yeah, that is why top boxes can be very bad. One, for your subframe, two, for your bike's handling, and three, for your bike stability on the highway. So these are the things you need to watch out for. But that does not mean you just shouldn't get top boxes. You can still get them, but you need to be a little smart about it so that you can make an informed decision about the entire thing. Even I got a top box, but my use case was purely urban. So you need to figure that out with yourself and your motorcycle and figure out how that top box that you're buying will fit into the whole picture. There are a few things you can keep in mind so that you are making a smart, informed decision over here. First, make sure the top box that you get is as small as possible while meeting all your requirements. For me, it was making sure that I can at least fit one full size helmet in it, and that's it. I didn't need anything else from it. There are some top boxes that are 55 liters and can fit two full size helmets. You don't need that. Just get something very small that can fit at least a helmet for your city roundabouts, nothing more than that. Second, material. Aluminum top boxes are the go-to options. I got an aluminum top box because my friend had it and I just had to steal it from him. Though they are very safe, but they are heavier. Instead, if you can, just go for plastic ones. They are a lot lighter than aluminum boxes while still meeting most of the requirements. Yes, they may not be sturdy enough. One crash and there's a chance that the plastic might snap, but it's a fair price to pay for something that's not ruining your bike's handling, right? So decide between the two. If you just want something for the city roundabouts, or you know it's not going to affect your bike's handling, then go for aluminum boxes. Even some motorcycles are designed for heavy top boxes. Just figure out if your motorcycle is one of them. I am not sure if my bike is, because I've never read anything about top box weight on my bike, but some bikes like GS's come stock with top boxes. So I'm pretty sure they are designed for those heavy 40-50 liter top boxes. Yeah, then most top boxes also come with key, which is pretty normal, but look for the top box that you can, like, remove and replace the key cylinder, or what is it called? Yeah, key cylinder. It should be replaceable, because trust me, you're going to lose your keys. I keep losing my keys all the time, and it's a pain always. Finally, pick brands that are reputable. Now, there are so many players in the market, and most of them are Chinese. Just avoid that. Go for something like GV, ASG, Shad. Which one is that? Hepco and Backer, I think. Studs, even studs make sell top boxes. Go for them, they are good enough. Now, before I end this video, there's one thing you should know is how to use your top box. By this point, you have realized that top boxes add a lot of weight in the worst possible place, and you want to minimize that weight if you want a top box. So, if you do use a top box, make sure you are not loading it up with heavy stuff. On the highway, if you're touring with a top box, just keep light things in it, like a towel, some snacks, or a spare visor for your helmet. Things like that go in the top box, maybe your action camera or action camera mounts. Everything else, especially heavy stuff like clothes, tools, whatever else, water, all of that go in your saddlebag. Your top box is just there to hold lightweight essentials. Although, if you ask me, please don't tour with top boxes, keep them at home. In the city, yes, you can load them up because you're not going so fast, so you can load them up with groceries and all that, but try to keep it as low as possible, and do not pack your top box with like 5 days of clothes. It's You are asking for trouble. I know we don't come across a lot of situations where we see snapped subframes because of top boxes, but you shouldn't risk it. Okay, it's not just about a snapped subframe, it's about handling. It is actively making your bike's handling worse. The manufacturer has to put so much effort in making sure that your bike handles light and easy, and you're ruining it by adding a heavy top box to it. The chances of breaking your subframe are like 5%, but there's like 70% chance that you are going to affect, like, that top box is going to affect your bike's handling. Yeah, that's about it. I think this is just a short video I wanted to make about my failed experience of getting a top box, and the rabbit hole the entire process led me down, and the things that I have learned. Will I be going for a top box again? Yes, I actually might. Not this one. This is too heavy and I can't fit it on this. If Viterra takes this back, then I'll get a proper top rack that can hold that top box. Otherwise, I will use this and go for one of those cheapo plastic ASG top boxes that are very lightweight. Remember, I'm using this in the city. I'm not planning to tour with it, and even if I do plan to tour with it, I will not keep anything more than 2 Lays packets and some a spare visor or some stuff inside it. It stopped recording again on the last part. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ash Rathod. This is the Blue Biker. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any comments or suggestions, then please drop them in the comment below. And I would also like to know how you use your top boxes. Do you load them up with stuff? Have you faced any handling issues or not? Because all of this depends on from bike to bike. So let me know what your experiences are with the top box in the comments below. Thank you so much. Cheers.